all over the Soviet Union and from overseas, up to 200 a day. I don't have time to read them. I don't even have time to open them. All of those who write to me are suffering. All of them are asking for help. The friends and enemies of Dr. Buteyko. Well, this is how it all happened. 35 years ago, on graduation from the first medical institute, I joined the hospital clinic under the direction of my institute teacher, academic Tarayev. On the 7th of October 1952, while on duty at the clinic, which was situated in the building at the Provosky Gates, the building with the white columns, a thought occurred to me that the hypertensive disease which I was developing very rapidly could be a consequence of the deep breathing. It was a very strange idea, and it just flashed. At the time, I was working on an assignment from my two immediate superiors in the clinical gynecological group I belonged to on the subject of malignant hypertension. So I knew everything there was to know about this disease. And there I was, suffering from it myself. I understood very well that my own death, knowing the rampant nature of the disease, was imminent, probably within a year, and there was no cure, no survival. I was going to die. One can survive cancer by cutting it out, but one cannot survive the malignant hypertension. It means death, 100%. At that time, I practically hated the science, which I had been studying so conscientiously and achieving such excellent academic results. And now, during that time on duty, this very unusual thought had flashed through my mind for no known reason. I decided to check it out straight away. At the time, I had a headache, a pain in the heart, and a pain in the right kidney. I started decreasing my breath. In other words, I had instantaneously invented my method of normalization of breathing. Practically a minute later, my headache disappeared, as did the pains in the heart and the kidney. I decided to recheck. Is it really so? Is there such a close connection? Am I right, or am I mistaken? Right there and then, I invented the way of testing it. That is, the deep breathing test. Now, what do you think happened? I developed the pain in the heart. Well, just 2 breath-ins, and the attack is starting. That's enough. Are you dizzy? Are there any spasms in your chest? Yes. If I listen to your chest now, I would hear wheezing. So you see, you've made 4 deep breaths, and the disease is now in evidence. And this is what is recommended and taught by the medicine. The whole world is being taught this. Well, I understand very clearly. This is how it works. Not only the hypertension, but the stenocardia, and the ischemic heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, enteritis, Raynaud's disease, and so on. A whole group of diseases that are the results of vascular spasms could be caused by the deep breathing. Then the deep breathing changes the pH. the acidity-alkalinity balance of the organism. This disturbs the metabolism, and the disturbed, unbalanced metabolism turns the immune reactions into allergic ones. That makes the allergies also the result of the deep breathing. Arthritis, obesity, malnourishment. As a result, the immunity is lowered. This is exactly what we're observing in our times. It follows, then, with the lowered immunity, colds and flus are developed easily. Even AIDS will attack those who breathe deeply much easier. The metabolic disturbances can be so immense that even tumors and cancer will appear. So even cancer can be the result of the deep breathing. I conceived all this very realistically during the first minute of this discovery. I made a resolute decision right away that all of this had to be tested out. Because if it was so, then what in the world was medicine doing? It was teaching the populations to breathe deeply, and thus is responsible for making them ill. And how do they treat them? Again, with the deep breathing exercises and the drugs which increase the breathing. In other words, they dilate the bronchi, they dilate the blood vessels, and with all their efforts, all they are doing is to increase the breathing even further. They don't prevent the diseases, don't treat the real cause, but on the contrary, they contaminate the population with deep breathing, and with their faulty ways, they destroy the people. About 8 times a day, 3 or 4 puffs. And the more they treat you with this, it gets worse, and worse, and worse. Sometimes if I get 12 or 13 attacks a day, the 14th time I use the puffer. It causes an attack of its own. I am on high doses of hormonal treatment as well. First, the puffer stops my attacks, but then the puffer brings on an attack, and then that attack I cannot stop anymore. Yes, then you get into a vicious circle. The ambulance comes 4 to 5 times a day. Then they take me into the intensive care, where I lie unconscious for a week. She already stopped eating, getting up. It was constant giving of hormones, tablets, inhalers, constantly. But she was getting worse and worse. Then her heart stopped. She was clinically dead. Well, now we'll use my method, which means the opposite. We'll decrease his breath. Now he's holding his breath. Tell me now, how is it going? What is happening? The dizziness is going. Well, my method consists of 5 fingers, 5 basic points. 1, to decrease. 2, the depth of breathing. 3, by relaxation. 4, by diaphragm. 5, until a small deficit of air. Attention. One can use the Buteyko method only under a specialist supervision.